Hey everybody, and welcome to The Breakthrough Effect. I'm your host, Jared Sebesta. I've had two successful careers. First, I was an award-winning TV meteorologist and then a financial marketing strategist. I was living the dream, making good money, but inside I was craving for something more, something bigger. So I stopped deferring life and I started creating exactly the life I was searching for. I doubled down on unlearning old mindsets and creating big breakthroughs for me and my family. And now I'm bringing that same transformation to you. Let's understand the rules of this game. Let's get clarity. Let's stop chasing and start becoming. This is the Breakthrough Effect.
Everyone else is telling you communication is about what you say. I'm telling you communication is about what you hear. The art of truly listening, or what I call complete listening, it has become a lost art in this world. But when we listen in a complete way and we listen to hear, magic happens. Because at the end of the day, Jared, all human beings want is to feel seen, heard, and understood.
All right, today on The Breakthrough Effect, I am talking with Renée Marino, a woman who has spent over 3 decades mastering the art of human connection and discovered something that defies everything corporate America teaches about success. Authentic connection is your greatest competitive advantage. From a working-class Italian-American family in New Jersey where no one had ever stepped foot in the entertainment industry, Renée didn't have connections, credentials, or a roadmap, but what she had was something more powerful, a commitment to connecting rather than competing. Get ready for a breakthrough conversation about why the most successful people aren't the best competitors, they are the best connectors. Please welcome to the show, Renée Marino. Renée, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much. That was so beautifully said. I'm going to clip that and use that. That was killer.
Well, you did it, not me. So congratulations on your success so far. You're just getting started. I want to kick things off with kind of an icebreaker question. In your opinion, what does it mean to be authentic, and how can people become more authentic?
Authentic means owning who you are. All of who you are. So what that means is not just the parts of you that you love, your accolades, your wins, your strengths, but also owning what I refer to as those areas of opportunity for growth. Maybe those things that you often want to hide the most, because I'll tell you this, the parts of ourselves we often want to hide the most are the ones that connect us with others the most. And when we share those vulnerabilities, when we share those parts of ourselves, we allow others to understand 4 of the most powerful words the human spirit can hear: you are not alone. And it lets us know that we're all human. We all have our own struggles in different ways, but we're all the same.
Yeah, I resonate with that so much. You know, I'm a month away as of the recording of this podcast of being 47. And I feel that like I'm more who I am now than ever. And that's a tough thing I have found people have a hard time accepting themselves, which should be the easiest thing that we can accept in this world. Like, how do people get over that hump where they know there's something inside and they want to bring it to the world, but there's this, I don't know if it's a limiting belief or some sort of roadblock. What is that in your opinion? How do people get over that?
Yeah. The most important, crucial step is learning to communicate and connect with yourself. I mean, think about it. How easy is it for us to escape ourselves nowadays? We have more distractions than ever before. If you don't want to deal with the fact that you're turning 47, you can be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go numb myself by streaming a whole season of a show on Netflix, or hopping on social media for what I call the good old S&C, scroll and compare, right? Where you numb yourself out, comparing yourself against the perceived realities of others that you see on social media. And then you wonder why you feel so crappy about yourself. So the most important step that we can really invest in is connecting and communicating with ourselves. First, getting clear on who the heck we are. Because so many of us don't know ourselves. We're so busy focusing on others, thinking about all the things we haven't done, beating ourselves up, judging ourselves. So a simple practice that you can start to adopt is waking up in the morning, and instead of rolling over to your nightstand to grab your smartphone to activate your brain, check your emails, start looking into the lives of others, leave that phone aside and just ask yourself, how am I feeling? And then take 5 to 10 minutes to put pen to paper to write the answer. And why do I say pen to paper? Because when we write, we activate more parts of the brains, giving us a deeper understanding of what's actually going on within. And this is the best part, is oftentimes after you write for a few minutes, you read back what you wrote, and it's enlightening what you find. Like, I've had times where I read back what I wrote and I'm like, oh, I thought I was over that argument with my husband, but apparently I'm not, because I'm still writing about it. And what it does is gives you clues, insights as to what's going on within. That way, when it's time for you to move about the world, connect with your clients, your team members, you're doing so from a more authentic place and you're more grounded in who you are.
It's a fabulous answer, and I can't encourage people enough to take you up on that advice, because again, you will find your way. If you really want breakthrough, you have to find it. And again, like you have the answers. And if you're paying attention enough to the movie that's playing out, the clues are there. I loved how you use the word clues. You're doing some amazing stuff. You just got off doing an event with Tony Robbins, the Tony Robbins. Like, when did you realize that this is who you are, and you took the first step into stepping into that? Yeah.
Well, most of my life, I was a professional performer. I performed on Broadway and film and TV. And since I was a little girl, as you said, I came from a very middle class, beautiful Italian-American family, but I knew no one in the business. Like, my dad was no director. He worked in a factory. My mother worked in a nursing home. So it was just me, this little girl with this big dream. And, performing on Broadway is like the equivalent of saying, I'm going to be a quarterback in the NFL. People thought I was nuts. But, through straight perseverance, and I want everyone who's listening to this to understand that perseverance is one of your greatest tools to break through. I am a professional person who's gotten rejected more than you can ever imagine, and people only see, they talk about this overnight success. There's no such thing. When I made it to Broadway, no one knows the years and years of work and struggle and sacrifice I put in before that. So for me, it was really, since I was a little girl, I had this innate sense within me to know that hard work was my key to success and perseverance, because I didn't have it easy. I can't tell you how many times I heard, Renee, you're too short. Renee, you look too Italian. You're not Italian enough, blah, blah. And the list went on and on. So I really had to develop this ability to create what they call a thick skin, dealing with rejection in a positive way and understanding that every no is just a closer step to the yes. So just start to change that relationship with what you may identify as failure. The only true failure is when you stop. But when you fail and you keep going, that's just failing forward. It's giving you, again, that word, more clues, more insights as to what's next for you. And that's for me how it all came about. Just continuing to move forward. And I'll tell you this, one of the greatest secrets to success, and this is how I went from being a professional performer. I'm talking, Jared, no type of business experience. I was never in corporate America. The first time I learned about business and having to create a funnel, I was like, what do you mean a funnel? Like a beer funnel? Like, what's a funnel? When I say nothing, I mean nothing. But the greatest secret that I can impress upon you all is imperfect action. Taking action, even when you're afraid, even when you're scared, even when you don't know what the next 3 steps are. That has been my key to success and continues to be. Because again, take this little girl from New Jersey who just knew how to sing, dance, act, connect with people. I started my own business 5 years ago, and I truly knew nothing about what that meant. But I just kept doing it. Didn't know what I was doing, but I kept failing forward. And I believe that so many of us, especially coming off of an amazing Tony Robbins event where 11,000 of us were gathered in an arena, these people were there to invest in themselves, to break through to the next level, the next version of themselves. I know what most of us fall into is overanalyzing, being in our heads. And Tony always says, when you're in your head, you're dead. We wait, we analyze. Well, I'm going to start my business when I have more money, when I'm more prepared, when I'm more ready. Guess what? That day never comes. But if you take action, even when you don't have all the answers, even when you're not confident, guess what happens? You take the action, and then the confidence is developed from there. And with that confidence, then you just keep moving forward.
Beautifully said. I resonate with everything there, because you have to first, going back to the beginning of our conversation, connect with who you are, understand who you are. And when you take action in that, even though it doesn't make sense, and you keep doing it, and you get your face kicked in and your teeth knocked in and you keep going, there's an element of stubbornness that it takes to do and build and create and have breakthrough. And to your point, if you just wait for the world to show up, it never seems to happen. I think that's fabulously said.
It'll never happen. There was a poem, I can't remember where this poem was. I'll find it one day. And I've researched, but now there's been so many things written since. But back in the day, I remember telling my mother this. I was in like high school. And it was some poem I read, and the premise of it was, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I have more money in the bank. I'll be happy when the kids grow up. I'll be happy when I have a bigger house. I'll be happy when. Guess what? That when never comes, because life happens. Lifes. So things are going to keep happening. It's up to us, right? The game changers of this world, it's up to us to say, that's it. I'm doing it now. I'm doing it before I lose the weight. I'm doing it before I feel like I'm beautiful to press record on that live video on Facebook. I'm going to do it now. And, one of the greatest myths that I have seen, and I talk about this from stage, I talk about this to my clients, we believe, in a general sense, that confidence comes first, action comes second, right? Yes, I'm going to start my business when I learn more about what business means. Yes, I'm going to get on stage when I feel better about the way I look. But the people, the 1%ers of the world, the people who are actually making strides, they know that it's action comes first, imperfect action, and from there the confidence is developed. So let me give you an example. The first thing that I started doing as a business owner, because it was in the heart of COVID, I created a workshop course for business owners and entrepreneurs to learn how to get on camera and be themselves with confidence. And that's called Connecting on Camera. And I would hear time and time again, oh my God, I hate myself on video. I hate the way I sound, the way I look, blah, 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 blah. And what I teach is that when you press record, when you're shaking, when your mouth is dry, when your heart's beating out of your chest, and you do that first video, as crappy as you may think it is, and you press stop, you know what you could say? All right, that wasn't the best, but you know what? I did it. Good job, Renee. And then you do it again. And then, all right, it was a little better. Good job. And each little nugget of self-confidence builds upon each other to turn into an armor of self-belief. And before you know it, you look back a year from then and you say, oh my gosh, remember when I was so terrified that first time to press video, and now I started my own podcast, right? That's what happens. So it's such a beautiful practice to start to develop, which is to just jump in imperfectly, and from there you'll see that the confidence gets developed.
So many people are afraid of looking cringy. I don't want to look and sound cringy. Trust me, you and I will attest to this. You look back a year or two, certainly 5 years, all that stuff was just cringy as all get out, wasn't it?
Yes, it's listen, it's the hardest. And I know you get it. Both you and I, right? I mean, my life has been being a performer. So like from when I was a little girl, okay, my mom would like show dance recitals to my family when they came over. I would leave the room. Jared, I would leave the room because I was like, I can't watch it. And even now, this is, I just turned 43. So like, this has been now for 43 years of like having to hear myself, watch myself. And every time I'm like, oh, but I do it, and it's gotten, it becomes more comfortable because you got to do it, right? There's the parts of what we do that isn't fun, but you got to do it. And because of that, I'm able to now, okay, I can watch myself. I can critique myself in a more positive way than how I used to. I used to just beat myself up. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
I've got old resume tapes of me being a TV weatherman from 25 years ago. And I say this a lot when I teach these types of concepts. You do a lot more than I do, but like it took me probably 2 years of doing weather on TV every day before I could watch myself. 2 years times 5 days a week, times 3 shows a day where I could watch myself and not be like, ugh, without wanting to like throw up in my mouth a little bit.
Yes.
for years. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's great advice. Let's talk about, you specifically talk about connection, connection and being able to communicate. What is like people, man, there's a couple of directions I could take this. Let's start here. What is like a counterintuitive truth that people think is true when it comes to communication that they're completely missing the boat on?
Everyone else is telling you communication is about what you say. I'm telling you communication is about what you hear. And I'm sure we can agree that the art of truly listening, or what I call complete listening, it has become a lost art in this world. And you can turn on any news channel at any time of day on any network and see a lot of people talking over each other, talking at each other, but never talking with each other. And I believe that's because we've all gotten attached to our own labels, whatever the heck they may be, religious, political, cultural. And the minute we're in a conversation and the person who's speaking says something that we identify as a difference, boom, we cut off from listening. And thus we see this great divide that we live in today. But when we listen in a complete way and we listen to hear, magic happens. Because at the end of the day, Jared, all human beings want is to feel seen, heard, and understood. And when we offer that, that's when we attract the right clients. We attract the right communities. People want to do business with us. People want to stay in our ether. It's that simple. But nowadays, because of digital technology, because we are so distracted, you see this, I see this. I have unfortunately many examples of this where you're in a conversation with someone and you're talking and they're listening, and all of a sudden, their phone goes off and they're like, yeah, yeah, what'd you say? And they answer a text message or they answer an email, and you feel that disconnect, right? Like, man, what a shift that happens, that I know for me makes me say, I don't know about having a follow-up conversation with this person. Because if you can't give me the 5 minutes to show me the respect that you're listening, I don't know if this is the right relationship.
That's spectacular. How do you apply this either in social media? You pick, with your family, spouse, children, social media, business relationship where you're trying to make a sale. What's kind of a tactic or a takeaway that you can incorporate the listening aspect of connection, maybe to a higher level, perhaps? You mentioned the phone thing, but maybe what's something else that comes to mind?
Yeah, couple ways. So the first thing is, there's a study done, Jared, called the iPhone effect, that looked at two people in a conversation with a cell phone present. Even though neither person picked up the phone, neither person looked at the phone, still that phone proved to be a distraction. So think about how simple this is. When you're in a meeting, whether it is virtual, whether it's in person, put your phone out of sight. Just put it out of sight. That way you're not even tempted when the phone lights up to change your eye contact, right? Put it out of sight. Another great old school tool here is body language, right? When that person's speaking, instead of, being hunched over or arms folded or angled to the side, which gives off an energy of disinterest, instead, I like to think two words, so simple: heart open. Think heart open to that person. As they're sharing something with you, think heart open to them. Make eye contact, smile. Those old school manners go such a long way. And as they're speaking, listen for things that you have in common. Tune in, because what that does is two things. Number one, it keeps you present, because you have to be present enough to hear something that you have in common. And number two, it keeps you in the conversation, and it gives you connection points. And that way, when it's your time to speak, wow, Jared, that's so amazing. I just have to tell you before we continue, I can't believe you were in news for 20 years. I did TV and film. Wow, boom. Connection is made, defenses go down, and now we can have a beautiful two-way conversation, because it's almost like the ice is broken. And that shows you, wow, this this chick, Renee, she was interested. She was listening to me. And whether you feel that consciously or subconsciously, okay, she's interested in who I am.
There is so much weight when it comes to business, relationships, building, creating, that falls on this communication thing. And that's where, I kind of make fun of myself. And I mentioned this to you before we hit record. I've never made money unless it involved talking. Like if I couldn't talk, this is all I got, Renee. I really don't have much else. This is pretty much all I bring to the table. But in my defense, it's a big piece because it allows you to connect. I think a lot of people, they want to start a business, they want to be more visible, write a book, but they don't know how to articulate their message with like passion and authenticity. And I can see that from you. Do you have to amp it up a little bit? Like how, because you got tons of energy and you're out there. Like I think this is you toned down maybe just a couple of ticks. Yeah, I know. So where do you find that? I don't want to say energy because it's deeper than that, but there is something to be said about just being into what you are doing, what you are saying, and how you're showing up into the world.
When you start to flip the script to making it about you, to making it about others, everything changes. Everything. Because when you understand that the reason you're doing what you're doing, the reason you're getting that message out there is to help those individuals solve a problem that they have. And when you think about putting yourself out there and sharing your message, it may be the solution to someone else's problem. Now you're not concerned about the way you look, the way you sound, the way I feel, me, I, but it's about the other person. And for me, to add on to that, I really believe, Jared, the purpose of my life is to utilize all of my God-given gifts. Otherwise, why was I gifted with the ability to speak and to sing or to have this energy or to talk about communication? I'm like, I get it, God. This is for me to use to help others. So that in itself fires me up. I'm like, okay, again, I'm not living my purpose. I'm living God's purpose. And because of that, I'm like, thank you, God. I get to wake up in the morning. I get to get on this stage. I get to help people to connect better, to communicate. What a gift. And that's a different level of energy and passion when it's not about you.
I just resonate with this so much because the more that I discover who I am, take action, to use your words, into that, step into that, not be afraid, not wait, I actually discover more who I am. I then am now using what God gave me. There's now a connection between my life and my soul, if you would want to go that level, right? I'm now exuding to the world why I was here. The subtitle of my book is you find this bold, exciting life. And to your point, what I'm hearing you say is you're connecting with that and utilizing that. And so you don't have to try to manifest some sort of fake energy to the world.
No. It's so authentic and organic because it's bigger than me. And that's what I love so much about Tony Robbins is he says the secret to live is to give. Think about this. And he uses this example and I love it because it's so true. When something good happens in your life, what's the first thing you do? I would hallucinate to say, you want to call somebody else or tell that person you love. Never, ever, when something amazing has happened, have I said, I want to sit in my room and just think about it and keep it to myself. I'm like, oh my God, I got to tell my husband, I got to call my mom, I got to tell I want to share it. And that's the same with our gift and our message. It becomes more magnetic when you share it, and it's meant to be shared. And that's why when we get so in our own heads about the way we look, the way we sound, we're not ready, I'm not good enough, I have to analyze it before I do it, we're making it about us. And that's why I love imperfect action so much, because it gets you the heck out of your head. Because you're like, I'm going to do it messy, I'm going to do it imperfect, I'm just doing the damn thing. And when you do that, you get out of your head and you get more into your body and your spirit. That's
100% true. And you don't know my story, Renee, but that's how I didn't live for 43 years. Even though I had success on the outside, there was something missing, this internal spiritual connection where I didn't feel connected to who I was. And even though I was winning on the outside, there was something on the inside that I have now that I didn't have back then. I know I have listeners because they tell me that explain where they have a hard time finding that. I know we talked about like really getting to know oneself, but there's people listening that are working a W-2 job that's it's on the verge of soul sucking, or maybe it's somebody in their 20s just kind of starting out and they don't know what the thing is. I know we've kind of covered a little bit of this at the beginning, but like, man, if you could tell people one little thing other than just getting in the game and taking action, like how do you discover what that thing is? If I'm sitting in my job, I got to go to my job and listen to this podcast. I'm driving to my job that I hate, and I'm listening to Renée and Jared talking about this exuberating life that's so exciting. Like, what do I do? What would you tell somebody if they came to you and said that?
Number one, get clear. Like, just start to take notice of the things that light you up. Like those things that you do that time stops. You're just in the flow. And then find those people who are doing the thing that you want to be doing. Get in the community, the right people who are going to lift you up, who are going to remind you of your power. Because let me tell you something. One of the most important decisions you can make is who you surround yourself with. Because whether we realize it consciously or unconsciously, we become who we're around. We just do. And especially if you're in a soul-sucking job with people who are happy to be there, and you're like, I am not like these people. Like, I am not... You need to get out of that, and you need to find those people, maybe the ones that you listen to on a podcast that you're like, oh my gosh, they seem like they're doing exactly what I want to be doing. Guess what? Find a way to connect with them. Get in their community. Watch their podcasts. Feed your mind and your body every day with those people that remind you of who you want to be. You want to step into that next version of yourself up here before you ever do in actuality, right? So really just start to flood yourself with that information and that energy of the people who are already doing what you desire to do.
By the way, that's how we met, right? Like, let's rewind the tape. Like, we met at a dinner at an event, which was not free. And, again, me prior to 3 years ago, I never did those things. Never. I didn't buy a book, Renée. Like, if somebody said this book will change you, here's Tony Robbins' book. It's $15. Go get it. I'd be like, man, it's kind of a lot of money to spend on a book, isn't it? Yeah. And like sometimes for us to go to the next level, it's not just the investment in a conference, it's getting yourself around other people. And pretty soon they're on your podcast, a couple weeks later.
This right here, this is the representation of connecting.
That's right.
Of knowing how to connect with people, right? It's not, that's all it was. You and I meeting, hey, hi, Renée, I'm Jared. Hi, Jared. We start talking for a hot 5 minutes. Great. Next thing you know, we hop on a call and here we are. Like, that's what it takes, people. So don't complicate it, because trust me, when you stay in your head and you overanalyze, everything is complicated. Everything's a bigger a mountain. You make a mountain out of a molehill. Just show up. Show up. And that's I feel like the simplest way I could put it. Just show up in your life. You have one life to live. We never know how long that life is going to be. In every moment, just show up in the best possible way you can, and you'll see the beautiful opportunities that get attracted to you.
I love it. I want to land this plane out. I want to give you one simple question. You can answer this as quickly or as lengthy as you wish. And this is kind of how I typically end a show like this. If you could go into the minds, rather, of people listening and replace one lie with the truth, what in your experience, what is that one lie that most of us need to get rid of and replace it with truth?
I'll tell you what my primary question was for so much of my life as a perfectionist. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Why can't I do that thing better? Why can't I, whatever it is, ... And replace it with what is right with me. What are the freaking things that I can do? Where do I excel? Where do I feel my best, highest self? and focus on those things.
Let's pin it there. What a great way to end this show. Great job. Before I let you go, where can people find you? You are a fantastic follow on Instagram, so give that a plug. Make sure you follow Renee and get her voice and her energy into you. But where else can people find you?
Yes, so as Jared said, I'm on Instagram at I am Renée Marino, and I'm everywhere. You can find me on my website, reneemarino.com. You can grab my book, Becoming a Master Communicator, and that's on Amazon. And yeah, just send me a DM on Instagram. Let me know that you listened, and I would love to connect.
Powerhouse, baby. Holy cow, man. Good job.
Good job, Jared.
There's an air high five. Good job. That's that Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins just gave you another boost, man.
Yeah, baby. Woo!
If this conversation sparked something in you, don't let it fade. Please rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform. Don't forget to connect with me online as well. Follow me at Jared Sebesta on Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, or dive deeper at my website, jaredsebesta.com, where all my free trainings and resources are waiting for you. And remember, stop chasing the life you want and start becoming. This is the Breakthrough Effect. We'll see you next time.